Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Carly Van Every. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please feel free to give this video a thumbs up as it helps me and I really appreciate it. Subscribe, come and join the journey. It's always appreciated. Lots of creative stuff happening here, lots of readings, lots of energy updates, and just honestly things that have been coming through from my higher self. So spirituality is in there too, of course. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into the video. I will too, at the end of this video, leave a spot if you would like to book a distance Reiki session with me and or a personal reading. I'll leave that information in here as well as the description box below. But without further ado, jumping into today's video. Okay, so today I want to talk about what I've coined the term of the age of remembering. And I've said this to my friend. My friend and I go ham on topics like really, really deep, psychoanalytic. We're analyzing everything. We're analyzing the consciousness. We're analyzing thought patterns, the mind, the feelings, also the metaphysical and spiritual aspect of that. I've got a few friends that I go deep with and jam on this stuff with, which I am so appreciative. So appreciative and so grateful for. Soul tribe, right? Soul fam. So maybe I was talking to family members about this too. Anyways, when I was in previous conversation with loved ones, family members, friends, soul fam, I was talking about, I feel like, how kind of in history we have these moments in time where it's broken up into periods where it's like, oh, this was the age of, or this was the Renaissance of, or this was the age of, and this is kind of like what this timeline was really known for collectively from like a historical standpoint. I feel like where we're moving through right now collectively, it might not come to like the age of remembering, but energetically, this is like what I'm feeling and what I'm seeing and what I'm like picking up on, and like I'm seeing the pieces come together for it too, right? Like psychically and energetically. But the age of remembering, it's interesting because to me, how I'm seeing it and how I'm feeling it and how I'm sensing it and tapping into it, even within my own life and within the lives of my loved ones around me, it's people coming back to remember who they are, okay? Like to their roots. And when I say this, I mean in the sense of who they are on a soul level. Who, if I'm being really real here, when I see someone, when I'm in conversation with someone, and I notice this too when it's like the real heart-to-heart conversations and it's the real, gratitude-filled conversations, those deep connections with others, the emotionally deep connections, the real conversations. It's beautiful because what I've come to remember is that when I'm in connection with this other person, I get to see them as their whole self. So when I say that, I mean that I'm in this conversation, this connection, this co-creation, if you will, with them. And I get to see them for who they are, said person's name, right? But I also see the larger part of them, who they are, where they come from, acknowledging that they too come from the stars just like I do, that they too have a very expansive and wow, incredible soul, just like I do, just like we all do, right? It's very, very beautiful when I've noticed in my life when I'm in these moments with others where I'm able to see them for all that they are, all that they've accomplished, like in their life, their current life, and even as a soul, even if I don't like physically or energetically see it in that moment, just the knowledge of you've accomplished so much as a soul, like past lifetimes, incarnations, all of it, and like just seeing them and really, wow. Isn't it beautiful? Like, wow, aren't you impressive? Wow, aren't we impressive to be able to focus our consciousness in such a way that we actually incarnate into these bodies on this planet right here, right now. It just, I don't know, it's interesting because I want to say the word that comes to me, but even as I say that, it's so much more than just a word. It's like a state. It's like this feeling, this mood, this state of respect that is so pure, is so rich, is so present in that moment, where it really opens up and allows the conversation or the connection or the co-creation to flow in such a divine way, in such a beautiful way, where it's like, wow, this is the richness, this is the quality of life that I am living, that I am creating, that I am co-creating with, that I am experiencing. And how grateful, how appreciative, how it's amazing. It's really amazing. So yeah, I feel like this moment in time for a lot of us, I really do feel it and see it energetically, where it is, I've just coined it the term, the age of remembering, where a lot of us are remembering who we really are, remembering. I've always seen it as like when we come to this planet, from the day that we're born, we come with specific intentions, almost like a soul blueprint of what we want to do and how we want to kind of carve out our lives. Like we know exactly where we want to go or what we want to do or how we want to live, right? These very pure and clear intentions, strong intentions too, that we have, just very, very pure, right? And it's interesting because yeah, I remember like reading somewhere from another group known as the Ancient Ones, where they were saying, you know, or the reason why, like when we come here and we forget a lot of who we really are, is because of the stimulation that's happening here, which there's a lot of stimulation that happens. I'm sure like in our media, you know, everyday interactions, objects moving, like vehicles, you know, all of that good stuff that happens here on this planet, right? And it's so interesting. It's so interesting to see, you know, it's like this innocence of a child that we have, of us kind of forgetting like where we are and where we come from. But in an aspect of that thought, it's really good, because it's like, it's positive, because then we're not over analyzing anything, we're just being. And I'm going to do another video on this too, for more of the people who would consider themselves woke, consider themselves spiritual. I'm sure if you're watching this video, this is probably you. But yeah, just being in the present moment, that's very, very powerful. And being in vibrations of the softer, higher, purer frequencies too. Not saying that, you know, everything all serves, but, you know, being in a state of peace, being in a state of love, being in a state of joy in the present moment, that's very, very momentous. But I do want to do a separate video on that too. Anyways, yeah, so just this like state of being right now is really, really good too. And I feel and see energetically a lot of what a lot of people kind of came in with. I feel like that's being activated within, and partly how I feel to it, and I'm feeling very softly to this. Like I'm not tapping into it like super, you know, rampantly, if that's a word, but it's a very soft frequency that I'm feeling, a very softer energy that I'm picking up on. But where we're moving in this universe right now as a planet, when I was shown this about 4.5 months ago, it is July 2021 right now, but when I was shown this months ago, I was shown this image of the frequency grid lines, and they came like this and then they opened up. And this is where, in this particular universe, where this planet Earth is moving through right now, was moving through this frequency zone here, and then opening up. And what I was receiving, the knowledge that I was being passed down to from other beings was that because this planet is moving throughout these frequencies, these specific frequencies, it's almost like a fishing net where denser energies are kind of falling away so that there's more light consciousness. That's actually what I'm hearing right now. There's more light consciousness coming up and growing. They're saying growing on this planet right now too. So it's very, very interesting too in that sense, because when, you know, if I take this, and because everything happens on the macrocosm and the microcosm, so if I take this and really dissect it just energetically and intuitively and with my heart right now, any time in my life where I felt light and pure, that's when stuff just clicks, and that's when stuff just happens, right? Stuff that feels good, stuff that's like coming straight from alignment, that connection to source, right? So it's very, very beautiful. And the way of how like a lot of these denser energies kind of manifested was, you know, anything that's not really serving, it has to come up and it has to be acknowledged. It's wanting to be acknowledged. It's wanting to be seen. It's wanting to be heard, right? It's not about pushing something away, because when we push, we're still focusing on that. And by us pushing that away, that will still manifest in different patterns, right? Same energy, different patterns, or different forms of manifestation. Same energetic pattern is what I'm trying to convey. But yeah, so that happened a lot throughout the last year of 2020 and 2021, in the last 4 months even. We saw that with the residential schools. That was like the latest kind of manifestation of that. But once something's acknowledged, then you now have that like choice of focus of, okay, what's the opposite of that? There's something we don't want, but then there's something that we do want. And how are we going to create that? How are we going to sustain that? How are we going to let that in for us, right? All of these different thought places and forms and stuff. And I do want to talk to this word ecosystem, because it's in my consciousness right now. It's in this energy frame, and I'm literally getting the word go for it, like go for it. So ecosystem, we are all part of this ecosystem, every single one of us. Some of us, like myself, are very, very good and very, very much enjoy creating through the energy weaves by focusing our thoughts on something, by flowing energy in a certain way, whereas others, like some of my family members and friends that I know of, they're more take it by the hands, kind of more earth energy, where they're going to really be like the ones who are like fighting at the gates, like, you know, moving mountains and stuff, going into meetings and stuff. I'm more of like a softer person. I just have a different role in this ecosystem that helps to add that balance, okay? So we all have our own ways of working with this, and how we can access that is by really listening to our heart and really connecting into that space of, okay, how can I help to serve? Is it by offering new insights that maybe people aren't really talking about right now, but that could add a benefit here, that could add support, that could add hope, that could add perspectives of love, that could add something different that, hey, maybe could grow into something really beautiful? Or is it, maybe I'm going to go to this protest, or maybe I'm going to do this, right? We all have different components of this ecosystem, just like a tree is more still and more holding the light, whereas another animal, like a wolf or something, might be more of like in the dirt and going in, I don't know what that was, but going, you know, being in there, right? We all have our own parts, and there's is balance. It's really about balance. They want me to say there's no like right or wrong in the ecosystem. It's just listening to what's in your heart, your higher calling, and then moving from that state of balance, okay? So, age of remembering. I do see a lot of people remembering throughout, and it's already started. It has already started, and it's only going to continue, and it's only going to unravel, but very, very naturally is the information that I'm being given right now and what I'm recalling right now. Very, very naturally, it's going to start unraveling for us. So what this could look like is people starting to develop psychic gifts, people starting to see energy, starting to see auras. I had a friend recently that reached out to me and said that she's starting to see auras and stuff too. And I'm like, hey, that's awesome, because that means that we are, you know, we really are like opening up, and we really are moving throughout the universe, and hey, this is really exciting, and hey, like, yeah, this is amazing. Let's connect. Let's, you know, yeah, let's just go with the flow on this. Let's allow this. And yeah, so I definitely see this as like psychic gifts, but also people just coming back home to their own wisdom, right? Utilizing their own discernment of, okay, you know, this is a belief system that's out here. This is a belief system out here. This is a belief system out here. But how do I feel about this? How do I really feel? Do I feel like a little grinding gears internally in my body? Is that resistance, or do I feel like, whoosh, okay, I'm allowing it, it feels good, I'm gonna follow that? Another way that this could also happen is that people could be very more inclined to and actually starting to do more of the inner work, inner development, where it's like being responsible for emotions and energies that come through to regulate them in healthy ways, but also recognizing patterns within self of, hey, where is this harming myself? Where is this kind of destructive in my own life? And I want to try to create something different so that I actually am open more to what life is and how I'm moving throughout life, okay? And a lot of this, all of this, we all have access to on a soul level. So I'm really seeing like a lot of this like coming into, it's interesting because I'm seeing it as like soul recall, where it's like these aspects, people are coming back into this, and this can happen by activations. So what I mean when I say activations is like you could be in conversation with somebody, say it's someone that you don't normally talk to, or it could be a conversation. It could just be from somebody like walking around in your area. It could be the way that somebody looks at you, because there's ways to do this where you don't talk, where it's just pure energy and pure feeling, and you can literally connect and like, anyways, this is what I'm learning. This is what I've been experiencing recently too. But so yeah, it could come across as like an activation where, say, somebody says something, and that literally from that word or from that piece that they expressed, it literally has a way with you in your mind and your body where something within just kind of like ignites, and you're like, oh, wow, that person's like really got me thinking differently, or hey, I've never thought about it like that. And it could literally like open up something within you that allows that soul recall to kind of come in and ease in, right? And then that could lead to something else where it's like, oh, I'm actually remembering now, like on a soul level, but also in my physical body right now, that yes, this is what I can do. And yes, like I'm just remembering more of who I am and what lights me up, and like all of that, right? And yeah, it's a very, very fun discovery. It's a very nice discovery. So enjoy the age of remembering. That's pretty much all I wanted to kind of touch to for today, for this video right here, right now. The age of remembering, just people really remembering like their soul essence and what they came here to do, what their soul is, what their potential to create is all about, what they can really do here, and really allowing that to really unfold naturally and organically. And I do see this like collectively for a lot of us happening very softly and easily, but more and more and more as we progress into what we see as the future. All right. So thank you all so very, very much for being here. Again, my name is Carly Van Every, and as promised, I will leave the information if you want to book a distance Reiki session with me and or a personal reading. I'll leave that here for you guys. Other than that, I do want to say thank you. I want to acknowledge you, and I just appreciate you for sitting here, being here, taking the time to engage here in on this conversation, co-creation. All right, so I'll see you guys on the next video, hopefully, and I hope that you have a good day, night, evening, wherever you are in the world. We'll talk soon.